You ever see that little padlock icon up in your browser's address bar and just wonder what it's really doing? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible system that keeps us all safe online. It's the very thing that turned the chaotic Wild West of the early internet into a place we can actually trust with our information. See, the internet, at its core, is pretty much anonymous. You have no idea who's really on the other end of the line. And that creates a huge problem. How can you possibly trust anyone when you can't verify who they are? Okay, think about it like this. You type in your bank's address, the page loads, and it looks exactly right. You're about to enter your username and password, but how do you know? How can you be 100% sure you're giving your login details to your bank and not to someone else? And here's the really scary part. It is shockingly easy for a hacker to make a perfect copy of a website. I mean, pixel for pixel identical. It asks for the same info, looks the same, but there's one massive difference. One site is there to protect your money, and the other one is built to steal it. Without some system in place, you'd never know which is which until your account was empty. So how in the world do we solve this massive problem of trust? We need a bulletproof way to verify identity online. And this is where the hero of our story comes in, the digital certificate. At its heart, a digital certificate is really just an electronic file, but it's an incredibly important one. It acts as a website's official identity card. This is the tech behind that little padlock, and it's what tells your browser, hey, this site is legit and your connection is safe. You know, the best way to wrap your head around this is with a real-world comparison. A digital certificate is to a website what your driver's license or passport is to you. It's an official document issued by an authority everyone trusts that proves a website is exactly who it claims to be. It really is that simple and that powerful. Now, this digital ID card is a real multitasker. It's got two absolutely critical jobs. First, it authenticates identity. It proves the site is the real deal, not some fake. And second, it enables encryption. It holds the secret key that lets your browser scramble up all the data you send, passwords, credit cards, you name it, making it total gibberish to anyone trying to spy on you. Okay, this is all sounding pretty good, right? But it brings up a really important question. If a certificate is an ID, who's the DMV of the internet? Who actually issues these things and makes sure they're trustworthy? The answer is something called a certificate authority, or a CA for short. And you can just think of them as a digital notary. You know how a real notary public verifies your signature on a legal document? Well, a CA is a super trusted organization that does the same thing for a website's identity before giving it their official stamp of approval. And believe me, they don't just hand these out like candy. A website owner has to formally apply to a CA. Then the CA does some serious homework. They investigate the organization to make sure it's a real, legitimate entity that actually owns its domain. Only after all that digging is done will the CA issue the certificate, basically putting its own reputation on the line. So, what's actually packed into this little digital file? Your browser checks all of this in the blink of an eye. It's got the website's public key, which is essential for that secure, encrypted connection. It has an expiration date because, hey, trust isn't forever, it needs to be renewed. And, most importantly, it has the CA's own digital signature. That's the official seal of approval from our digital notary. This system is incredibly solid, but what happens when it breaks? What does it actually look like for you when your browser tries to check that stamp of approval and finds a problem? Oh, I'm sure we've all seen it. That big, ugly warning page that screams at you, telling you your connection isn't private. It's so tempting to just shrug and click proceed anyway, right? Well, you're about to find out why that's probably one of the most dangerous things you can do online. When you see that warning, it means your browser looked at the website's ID card and said, whoa, hold on, something's not right here. The certificate might be expired, it could be misconfigured, or, and this is the one that should give you chills, it could be a complete forgery from a hacker. No matter the reason, the chain of trust is broken. To go back to our analogy, this is like being shown a passport that expired 5 years ago, has a completely blurry photo, or was issued by some country you've never even heard of. The digital notary is basically shouting to your browser, I cannot vouch for the site, you're on your own. So, what should you do? Your reaction should be simple and automatic. You leave, period. Do not proceed, do not enter any information. Close the tab and get out of there. That warning is there for one reason, to protect you from walking straight into a digital trap. All right, let's just zoom out for a second. This whole ecosystem of certificates and authorities might seem a bit technical, but its impact is absolutely profound. It is the invisible architecture that supports basically all the trust we have online. Thanks to this system, we get to turn the wild, anything goes internet into a place with a real structure for security and trust. This is the bedrock that makes things like online banking, e-commerce, and even secure messaging possible in the first place. So, the next time you glance up and see that little padlock, you'll know. It's not just a decoration, it's the tip of the iceberg, a symbol of a massive global system of verification, a digital handshake built on trust, all working silently in the background just to keep you